Hi, it's Nadia. Today we are going to make ghee. 6 sections will be covered in this video. 1. Descriptions of ghee. What is it exactly? 2. Ingredient choices and yield calculation. 3. Equipment needed to make ghee. 4. Ghee making process and tips for success. 5. Filtering and jarring. And 6. Benefits of consuming ghee. I'll put timestamps of these sessions, and with understanding and practices, I'm sure you'll enjoy a jar of homemade ghee more, benefit your health from it, and fall in love with its wonderful flavor like I do. Let's get started. Ghee is a beautiful form of clarified butter, originated from India's ancient Ayurveda way of living, to heal and to balance an incorporated healthy status of body, mind, and soul. It is well used in South Asia's everyday cooking. For the past 10 years, it has become very popular with the trend of low-carb, high-fat, ketogenic diet. This healthy fat is made by heating butter in a low-heat, simmering status to slowly render pure fat from separating water and milk solids, such as lactose, a form of milk sugar, and casein, a form of milk protein. So, people without or with milk allergy can both enjoy this wonderful food. In particular, the longer time we have butter simmered, the nuttier flavor we'll get. Making ghee at home is simple, requiring lower budget and producing better product, just from the best butter you can get. Butter is the one and only ingredient we need to make ghee. I'll also share another secret ingredient which is optional, but really nice to have. Choosing the best grass-fed butter is the #1 successful factor of making ghee. About the choices, the Irish brand Kerrygold is highly recommended and most popular. It's widely distributed in Europe and America, but not covered all around the world. So the New Zealand brand Anchor is another good choice for people outside of the regions mentioned, particularly in Asia and Pacific areas. I also like the French brand President. It's in a higher price range in my area, but if the product quality is what I like, it's worth every penny I pay. So, how to choose the better butter? First, choose unsalted butter. I once tried making ghee from salted one. It didn't come up great. Second, and most importantly, read carefully the ingredient and nutrition facts labeled in the package. Just butter needed. No other flavorings or additives required. No matter some are claiming natural flavorings or other fancy names. Commercially sold butter is regulated to contain at least 80% of fat. So, for homemade ghee making, every 500 grams of butter, about 18 ounces, yields 400 to 450 grams of ghee, about 16 ounces, 1 pound, which can be put into a 1-pint mason jar. I normally prepare 5 pounds of butter, about 2.3 kilos, and yield 4 jars, about 1.8 to 2 kilos. I use the 6.3 quart pot, about 6 liters. Speaking of pot and jars, let's see the equipment needed. A saucepan or a pot. For demonstration purpose, I choose Corning Vision cookware. It's a handy 2-liter glass saucepan, easier to see through. I want to provide a variety of angles for you to see the whole process. A spoon or a spatula. I use it to stir to help water evaporation. A heat-resistant glass measuring cup. I used a 2 cup, about 500 milliliters to measure. A sieve and a paper tea bag or a paper coffee filter will do the same job. These 3 items are used to filter the ghee. And a mason jar as the container of my product. Any heat-resistant glass jar will do. This is the 1-pint mason jar, about 480 milliliters. Now let's start to make some ghee. It takes about 50 minutes to 1 hour. The more butter we use, the more time needed. To better calculate the yield, and suitable for a 2-liter see-through glass pot, today I use the French brand President butter. It weighs 500 grams. In a long cylinder shape, I cut the butter in half to better fit into the pot. Turn on to low heat. You can see my induction stovetop becomes red, and butter starts to melt. It's pretty clear that we can see some milk solids separated immediately. Let's see another angle of the melting. At this point, butter is not melted yet. But within the first 5 minutes, some bubbles coming up as the water starts to evaporate. Again, from this angle, we see water bubbles and milk solids. Be very careful that bubbles are starting to splash. At this point, be patient and calm. It's my secret ingredient. I remember my first time making ghee. I was screaming when the bubbles splashed. It was quite embarrassing, but hilariously funny. When butter is all melted, frequency of bubbling becomes more rapidly. It's quite obvious that milk solids separated into 2, some floating up to the surface, some falling down to the bottom. They are lactose and casein. In between, it's what we want, the pure fat. When the bubbling is massive, I use a spoon to facilitate evaporating, prevent too much splashing. Though it's in the lowest heat of my stove, I still stir. If I don't, it will splash to get my stovetop messy, or I might get hot oil on my apron, or even got hurt. So continue to stir in the middle of the process. But if your stove heat can be low enough to have less splash, you don't have to stir. When more and more water evaporated, we'll notice the surface becomes foamy. To this point, water turns into steam. Evaporate thoroughly. Keep stirring. The nutty aroma makes your kitchen smells like heaven. Following is my favorite part of making ghee. Listen to and see the bubbling has its own rhythm, like fireworks in the sky, lighting up the darkness of the night. At this point, steam is nearly gone. When there is no steam, it's time to turn off the heat, that it gradually cool down. Till the stage of no bubbling inside the pot, remove the pot from the stove top, that it further cool down for next step handling. It's ready to be filtered and jarred. With a sieve, I use a paper tea bag to carefully, slowly, and further filter the ghee, like I do my dripping coffee every morning. I'm in no rush to hurry. After all, with nearly 50 minutes to 1 hour standing in front of a stove, listening to the bubbling, watching the color change, and smelling its Nadia and Nadia aroma, focusing on every step of making, this ghee is very precious to me. In particular, the whole process is quite therapeutic to me. These milk solids are also beautiful. They are not burned. I taste some. It's just like milky flavor candy. From my research, some recipes do save this byproduct to make dessert. No part of the butter we make ghee will be wasted. But for people with milk allergy or people who avoid consuming any form of sugar, just discard these milk solids. I leave the sieve untouched for a while, let the ghee fully drip down, and total 500 grams of butter yield 450 grams of ghee. Now, pouring beautiful golden liquid into a jar is very satisfying and comforting. And there are more benefits of this precious golden liquid. 1. It's rich with fat-soluble vitamins, such as vitamin A, D, E, and K. 2. It has a higher smoke point. When in cooking, prevent fat to oxidize or to form the harmful free radicals. 3. It's lactose-free and casein-free. Improve healthier digestion. 4. It's water-free, not easy to spoil, can be stored in room temperature. Some India ghee are stored more than 100 years, becoming a powerful healing food and healing medicine, becoming very sacred. 5. It has butyrate acid doing many diverse jobs in our body. For instance, it helps to fight chronic disease, prevent inflammation and cancer, also support our brain health. 6. It has CLA, a valuable fatty acid, promotes healthy weight loss. I think these benefits are answers to why I lost weight, why I felt much better after a meal without feeling tired, and why people become healthier with this healthy fat. Have some ghee today. I hope you're healthy and happy. And please remember, life is beautiful. You are cherished and blessed. Thank you for your watching and considering to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Take care.